What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Eddie's World of Figures. Today, I have yet another 2-for-1 for you guys. Not just any 2-for-1. This is Super Saiyan Son Goku, Legendary Super Saiyan. Yes, that is a freaking mouthful. I hate when the machinations be going crazy long titles, but hey, it's a legendary figure right here. But on the right side over here, this isn't just another copy. Yet it is, but it isn't. It's actually the best selection, which is pretty much the budget form of this, pretty much legendary Goku. Now, without further ado, let's get into the review. As always, we're going to start out with the boxes themselves. And right from the beginning, you're going to notice, of course, some differences. One box is smaller than the other. Now, both box art, they have their typical SS Figuarts front, art in the front. You have the name of the figure, in this case, Super Saiyan Son Goku, Legendary Super Saiyan over here on the left. And this long extended title of the exact same thing, except Best Selection. Now, the Best Selection, as you guys see here, was a premium Bandai pre-order. And all it was just a budget version of the original release that I have here. This is not the reissue. I unfortunately do not have that one, which supposedly is supposed to fix the issue with the chest. But I will get into that once I get into the details of the figures themselves. So there's some details that I would like to go over with you guys. But back to the boxes, guys. So, as you guys, like I mentioned before, premium Bandai. So this guy is missing a lot of accessories that you guys see here on the left over here. So you just got the one face you guys see here inside. A couple hands, and that was pretty much it. You get your typical hair piece, but that was it. At the bottom, you still have your Dragon Ball Z logo, the toy animation sticker, pretty much authenticating this official product. Of course, you got their logos like toy animation, Bandai over here. You have the new Machinations quality seal sticker, same thing on the right. Definitely loving the box art for this figure. And always, you guys will see that the box art always kind of transitions over into the right side. Now, although same figure technically, the pictures that they chose are slightly different. You got the Kamehameha on the original box here. This right for you guys. Nice little face shot of Goku. I don't know why they put his foot there. That was just weird. Over here, nice little face shot of Goku on the Best Selection box, him doing the Kamehameha. And at the top here, don't know why they chose to show his arm, but I guess they'll show, like, hey, this is the articulation for this. Just weird. Now on the back, again, all those pretty much the same figure. You do have some different box art in the back too. So different photos, things like that. You still have your legal information, but on the back of the Best Selection, they did put the toy animation seal sticker, or authentication seal sticker in the back. So take note of that. Again, this is a time where you're getting filled with the market with bootlegs. So if you're trying to get an authentic figure, make sure to look out for these stickers. Don't want you getting ripped off, guys. So on the side, you have your open window showing off the accessories, even though the Best Selection doesn't hardly have anything in it except that long title there. Again, on the front, of course, you have your open window so you can see what's in there, including the figures themselves. As such, at the top, unfortunately, the Best Selection doesn't really have much because the box has pretty much been almost cut in half, as you guys can see here. Now, the original box does have a nice window, of course, with the little side picture of Goku on the right here. So, either or, nice packaging. But, all right, let's see what's actually in these boxes. Of course, this one doesn't have anything in it, but let's get into the section of actually taking these clamshells out and further observing them. So let's do that now. Got the clamshells out. So I got the original Legendary Super Saiyan Goku over the left and the Best Selection clamshell over here on the right. So, as I mentioned earlier, the first thing you'll notice as there are quite a bit of accessories missing on the best selection, that being the Kamehameha that you have over here on the left side. Uh, Quite a bit portion of hands missing. The hair sculpt over here is missing, and the hair bang piece. Now, on the original release, which was about 70 retail, really it was like 65, but after like tax and stuff, it was like 70, 72-ish. Of course, it's going for a lot more because this figure is no longer production. Although, I want to add this in here real quick. They're supposed to be doing another reissue of this guy pretty soon. So it was quite strange for them to do a pretty much a budget release of this guy, but also do it through Premium Bandai. Now, why did I buy the best selection? My pretty much my reason for buying the best selection was I have the original. I didn't want to spend additional $70 to get yet another copy. And the reason that being was I have the custom shirt pieces that I just wanted to throw in there. That's why I got it. I was like, it was just, pretty much a way to get me a cheap body without having all the extra accessories that I don't really need because I already have the figure. And that was it. That was my reason behind it. I don't advise, somebody to get the best selection if you see it. If you don't already have the original, I would just get the original. If you don't mind not having accessories, then go for it. But hey, anyway, back to the accessories. You get Goku's yelling face over here. And at the top, you get his really nice grinning face here. And I'll take these accessories out too. Closely show you guys. Got the nice hairpiece and, of course, the Kamehameha effect. And quite a bit of hand accessories here too. Over here, on the best selection, you have yet pretty much the exact same yelling face. A couple hands, pretty much his open palm hands, and his, I would say, like his karate hands, like his doing like his typical Goku stance pose here. And that's pretty much it. Of course, it comes with the fists that are already on the figure, but that's pretty much it for this figure. So now I want to take these out and show you guys further details of just the accessories themselves and all the pieces. So let me get these out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the accessories, a few of them. Mainly, I pretty much have all three of the original Goku faces out here and the best selection. And I have the Kamehameha effect, hairpiece, and the hair bang. A few hands. Now, the first thing I want to do, now I'm going over the details, mainly of the figures and a few of the accessories. But one thing I want to take the time to do, and I haven't seen too many people go like too far in depth of the details of the figures themselves, like pretty much comparison of the original Goku and the best selection. So right now, I want to point out this is the original Goku. On the left here and I have the best selection over here on the right. Now, my channel and my videos, I know they can be quite lengthy, but I like to go in as much detail as I can from what I'm seeing and myself as a collector myself of my own figures. But I want to take the time to really go through the differences between these two, at least from what I discovered. Now, I don't want to like keep you guys here all day with this, but I do want to at least try to do these figures justice. In case you're wanting to get either or, like you're trying to make a definitive decision. So, starting out is the chest, and I'm hoping that the camera, at least my camera, can pick this up correctly, because from the naked eye, I can see the differences pretty much clear. So, on the left, of course, the original Goku did have the problem with the chest being a little bit lighter than the rest of the plastic. I will say, and this is pretty much going off my eyes, I might have eye problems, but hey, I'm looking at this new Goku. They did fix the new chest, like the chest plastic issue being a lighter color than the rest of the plastic. They did fix it. Another thing I noticed was on my original copy that I got, the clearance of the upper chest here, the one that has the light plastic. As you guys see, there's a little, there's of course there's a gap here. Let me fix my finger. I'm fingering away. There's a gap here, and as you guys see, as I'm pushing up, I can pretty much get Goku's chest bent in pretty good. At least his back, like going up. And you guys see that, right? Pretty much the way this upper chest kind of hugs on to his abdomen up here, like his chest right up in here. Now on the new one, I could tell, and I'm looking at it right here. I want you guys to see this too. And I'm trying to do this as best as possible so you guys can see. They fixed the clearance of the chest, so it actually hugs in a lot better on the best selection. And I can't say they fixed this with the reissue because I don't own that one. I just own the original and the best selection that I got from Premium Bandai. Now, I like that. Although they did fix the clearance, it has its pros and cons because you can come all the way up, and we're not on articulation. I'm just pointing out details here. I can look all the way up, no problem. Like it's not getting hung on the abs or anything like that. But on the new one, if I try to pull up, and this is what I was noticing when I was playing with them, you can't go up any further. Put his head back on, it popped off. Can't go up any further. Now I like the visual gap being fixed, but it does obstruct the pretty much the clearance of the chest coming up and down. You guys see. And I'll go over that a little bit more when I get into articulation, but I just wanted to point that out, the details that I saw that changed. I'm glad I fixed that, but at the same time, like, dang, it's done hindered a bit of the movement up here in the chest. It's like, all right, you guys fix one problem and create another. It's like, it's not a huge issue, but it's just something I noticed. All right, another detail, all right. And again, I'm hoping that my camera, is picking it up. So over here on the original, the paint is different too, slightly different. So over here, the bottom of the paint is slightly more blue. Like they put more shading down here for the darker blue. And over here, there's not that much paint going on. It's like they just molded it, threw some blue paint on here, called it a day. And this technically was supposed to be a budget release because it's best selection. They just put what was the best parts in this one. Another thing I noticed, it's like they used a complete different batch of plastic, in my opinion, because my Goku on my left, the original Goku, he's a little bit lighter. The new Goku, he's a shade tanner, which is cool. I'm wondering if that's what this Goku originally supposed to have been like, and there was probably like some production issue going on with the quality of plastic or whatever they might have been trying to do. And these two figures did both come from the Vietnam factory. I forgot to point that out earlier. But there's another little slight detail that, of course, somebody who wasn't as picky as me would overlook. But even in the left leg here, or right leg technically, the right leg, you'll notice on the pants how the tear here, let me point this out, the tear is a little more floaty. Like it's not completely laid on the leg here. And on the new one, it's like when they molded it, they completely made it flush here, as you guys see. And I want to put this in the camera a lot better so you guys can see, yeah. So it's a lot more laid down. And I have seen other reviewers review their best selection and it had that same one. So it does seem like a bit of the molding process changed just a tad, especially with the color of plastic. And again, I'm really hoping it's picking up in the camera properly because I can definitely see that in the naked eye. Because sometimes the colors don't translate too well, I guess, in the camera. But I'm noticing also a bit of the shading is slightly different in the new one from the old one. And of course, like this is a different mold, these are, I'm assuming, being handmade. So, but sometimes they're consistent when they do issues or things like this. Also, another thing I noticed too is the Super Saiyan hair itself. My original one has more shading than the best selection. Although both hair sculpts still look really nice. I want you guys to see that a lot better here. They still look really good for what they are. It's just the original one has more shading, that's all. Like there's more of a darker shade that's coming down this big bang here of Goku's hair than there is on the best selection one. Now the boots, I notice, are pretty much the exact same shade of color. The wristbands are the exact same shade of color. Like everything else is pretty much the exact same shade. Did you guys see here? You know what? Now that I'm looking at it even further, this is my eyes. I'm looking at the camera and I'm looking at the figure itself in front of me, right? And I'm noticing like the best selection, even like the orange, the plastic, it's even like a slight darker hue to it. Like the one on the left is a little bit more vibrant, even with the sun. You know, I'm hoping you guys like that, like the ambient light that's coming here. I have lighting in here, but I like that there's natural light coming here to kind of illuminate the figures that I have. But it's very subtle, but it's like to somebody who doesn't care, it's like you would just overlook this. But again, as a collector, like you're spending money on this and you're noticing this, like I love to point that out in my videos. This is what my videos are for. You know, not just overlooking things because I have the figure. Like I like to look at the details, like what's different here? Like what am I paying for? But yeah, even the back of the hair, pretty much the exact same from what I noticed. I take the hair skulls off and do want to point out this is the best selection hair on the right. This is the original on my left. So a little up close so you guys see a lot better. I know I'm spending quite a time on this, but this is what this is about. Showing you guys in depth, you know, the difference of these figures so you can make your honest, good choice of what you want. So it's like they kind of cheaped out just a tad. They fixed the issues, but it's like they didn't want to put too much more time and effort on the best selection. But that's fine. Face plates, still the exact same, at least that. Nothing's changed there, as you guys can see. Scratches and everything on the bodies themselves are also the exact same. Nothing's changed on the spots or anything like that. There's no additional shading, any of that. So the molding itself is technically the exact same. So no issues there. With the bodies to the side here. So the Kamehameha that comes with the original Goku is really nice. Now it does have, you know, it's pretty much like a puzzle piece. You have these pretty much the peg pieces that go into its corresponding spot. Some people don't like this. I don't really like it either. It can be quite a hassle, like trying to find the correct hole and line up the part, you know, the pretty much the peg to it and push it in. It gets a bit of a pain. I've already gone and put it all together for you guys to save time, but I do want to show you guys that there is some nice white shading going on the pretty much the Kamehameha's base orb and the effects that come off of it. A bit of white shading going on, so I do like they took that extra effort to do that. On the extra hairpiece, there is some shading going on with it too, and yes, you can remove the hair bang here. And I do want to point out, since the best selection is pretty much the exact same figure, just less accessories, yes, these parts are interchangeable with that figure. Of course, you have the additional hair bang. It has shading on it as well. And you have the pretty much the original Goku's faces. And look how clean these faceplates are. And if you're new to collecting SS Figuarts, especially in the Dragon Ball line, I want to point out that this was a general release when it came out. So this wasn't locked behind like a paywall, like Premium Bandai or some weird exclusive or anything like that. You can go to the store or get this from like your local hobby store and must pay like $60, $70 and get it. And get this nice quality. Real nice prints. Real nice. Especially with the details in the face plates. You can really see the emotion behind Goku and expression at that time during the Frieza saga. Here's his yelling face. And one thing I want to show off, the freaking face plates were quite minimal. Minimal. Get my words out there. This yelling faceplate came from the original Goku, and this yelling faceplate comes from the best selection. So not much has changed at all. Yeah, I really don't see any difference. And I know I'm being like picky. You guys saw earlier, like, oh, that's different, but no. The same process, like the paint shades, the colors, all the same. Looks like they use the same print process, so no change there. So for the hands, you show the details there too. There is scratches on the hands, and this particular hand pretty much pegs into the Kamehameha effect, like so. Find a little hole there, and it just pegs in. And I like when they do this. It gives you more of I say realism, but it makes it a little more accurate to the anime, especially when you're doing poses and stuff like that. It just makes it look a lot better instead of it just being there, and it stays in place. I like that. So that's nice. Even on the best selection, this is where this is from. They still get the camera ready for you guys. I want you guys to see that. Yeah, they still have the scratches and everything that are on there. So it's real nice. Same thing for the open palm hand. It's open palm, but more like, like he's doing a Kamehameha still. Still got the scratches and everything on it. No change in quality of that plastic. The only thing that's a little different between, I guess, again, the original and the best selection is just the color of said skin plastic. Which I do like the best selection's tone a lot better than the original, of course, because they fixed the. Sorry, my hand's in the way. They fixed the fixed the original's skin tone. Camera here. Sorry about that. But yeah, I know this was quite in depth. Like I spent quite a bit of time on this, but just really wanted to show you guys, what's the difference between the two. And I know people will be, trying to hurry up and get the video out and, kind of just get through it. I'm not saying they're rushing like that, but it's a lot to talk about and try to keep the video to a certain time. But hey, when I got something to talk about, I want to talk about it with you guys. So enough for the details. I know you guys have been waiting quite patiently. So let's get into the articulation now. So let me get this cleaned up here and we'll get these guys situated. And we'll get into that. So be right back. Got both the Gokus back out here, all set up. So again, I got the Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, the original one, over here on the left, and I have the new best selection one over here on the right. So we're gonna go over the original one first. Articulation here. So just like we always do, we're going to start out with the T pose here. See just how far we get these arms up, and looks like he can do a really good T pose. Look at there. See if he can come up even further, and yes. And of course, this guy was advertised with these really good butterfly joints. This guy's overall, scope was pretty much how good can we get the articulation in this figure. Let's see, can he do a full rotation of his left arm? Yes, he can. Can he do the right as well? Let's see. Oh yeah. And everything's nice and smooth. Nice to the feel. All right, let's check out that bicep rotation. Oh yeah, real nice. No issues. Same thing for the right arm. Let's check out the elbow joints here. He does have that double elbow joint here, and it's actually really good too. Bicep does touch the forearm whenever you push the forearm all the way in. Really good range. Now this guy is massive in the muscle category, so it is getting stopped by that massive forearm there. Same thing for the left arm here. Turn the figure over so I can show you guys a little bit better. Look at that angle. Real good. And has the standard Dragon Ball SS Figuarts wrist peg. So can push it up and down, and of course rotate in a full 360. Get those hands where you want it. Pop that back in, and it does pop in smooth. I know some figures you can have a heck of a time trying to get those hands back on there. All right. Now for the neck and the head, the neck does have some really good rotation. And you can look down all the way in his chest here. And he can look really decently up. Really good range of motion there. And I do want to show you guys the ball and socket that's in there. Well, actually dumbbell joint that's in there. It's giving that really good range. And I do have a special addition in this video that I'll include, and it's going to be extending this neck in both Gokus here. As you guys see, the neck sits pretty low on the stock Goku, and I have something a little special to fix that. I'll get there later in the video, so you guys stay tuned for that. But moving on to the bottom, the waist. Now for this particular Goku, he can look up this far when pushing his back in, which is actually really good, although it does create this gap in the chest. Looking down is pretty decent. All right. Moving on to the legs, guys. Let's see, moving all the way up. And you can actually move his belt. You can actually move that around in a swivel. Well, actually in a rotation. It's on like a little joint there too. But the leg does kick up really good. Look at there. All the way back. And it does get some good range pushing all the way back too. And that's because Tamashii Nations used this soft plastic does get out of the way pretty well. If it's hard plastic, there's no way for that to properly happen without breaking the leg at all. Same thing for the right leg over here. Let's move the sash out of the way. Kick up really far. You guys a better view. And I hope you guys are enjoying the natural light that's coming in now. I do have some good lighting in here for these figures, but I do like that the natural light does come in here and then help with the figures themselves. Hope you guys appreciate that. Now that knee does have the double knee joint here as well, and the bottom of the calf does touch the bottom of his inner thigh there. Same thing for the left leg. There you go. Real good. Now, on the upper thigh swivel, it's actually really good. Now, you can't do a full 360 without forcing it or possibly breaking the leg out of the joint, but really good, really good. You can kind of come in this far on both legs and out this far, which is really good. Now, can you do a full splits? Oh yeah, look at there. Really get that good kick on Frieza. Look at there. Now for the feet. Now the feet with this ball joint system, it's actually really good because you can push it in and out. On the boot, and it comes all the way that far, and it's the left foot. Same thing on the right foot, and can come in, unfortunately, not that far, pushing in. As you can see here, go on the other side, but does get some good down movement, so you can get that good flight simulation there. Real good. Now it does rotate in a full 360, pretty easy, and it does have some side to side swivel. You guys see there. Same thing on the right foot. And it does have some excellent toe movement here. That toe joint there. Pushes in pretty far. This is really good. Now it does lay back flat, so that's also good. Now, another thing I want to show you guys is just how good these butterfly joints are on this figure here. Look how far those arms come in. Really get a good Kamehameha in this guy. Cross his arms really well. Really good. Yeah, this figure was freaking amazing when it came to articulation. And I will say the one that will probably beat this in my collection would be that Ace from One Piece. Definitely the best one I have so far in my collection. But Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, definitely another 10 out of 10 articulation. Freaking amazing. Another thing I want to point out before I move on to the other figure in the back here. The waist. Look at there. Full rotation. And the belt is floating, so you can move it out of the way pretty freely. No issue there. Now it does have side to side swivel there too. You guys see there? Real good. Alright, so let's move on to the best selection here. Now everything is pretty much the exact same. It's the exact same figure. Yet, the only difference that I pointed out earlier in the video was the way the chest has been redesigned just a tad. And I say only, let me not say redesigned, but it has been touched on just a tad. And it's a small detail, but it matters. So they did improve on the clearance of the chest, where it's not just hovering over the abs here. As you guys see it a little better, over on my left here. And remember, I was able to come up pretty far, although it exposes a pretty nasty gap there. On the best selection, that gap is almost gone. The way they tighten up the clearance there, it looks a lot better aesthetic wise, but you do lose a bit of range of motion when it comes to the upper chest when you're pushing it up in his back. Now looking down, about the same range of motion. Matter of fact, it's the exact same. You guys see here. It's just looking up is that slight difference there. Well, in that, everything is the exact same. Alright, so that's enough articulation. You guys see how amazing this thing is. So, a little bonus. I'm going to change out these neck pegs. So you guys see here, point it out one more time. Stock Goku, his head sits pretty low and pretty close to the traps. So I'm going to go swap out my old Goku with a custom neck peg, and I want to go over the difference with you guys. So I'll be right back and get that set up for you guys. Okay guys, back once again. So I still have the old Legendary Super Saiyan Goku on the left with a lighter chest, and the best selection on the right. As you guys see here, I put the different hairband on the old one. But what's the difference here? So if you guys notice in the camera, the old Goku over here, his head sits just a little bit higher than the best selection that has the stock neck peg in it. So all I did was I took pretty much a custom 3D printed neck peg here, and here's the stock one, and I want to show you guys here a little bit better just how different these neck pegs are. I don't drop it. go. But you guys see, I keep dropping it. Sorry about that. Trying to show you guys in the camera, it's subtle difference, but at the same time, in fact, let me do this instead. There we go. But you see that subtle difference? Like the 3D printed neck peg is just a little bit higher than the stock one. And it makes a huge difference. Now, where do I get this 3D printed neck peg? Because I don't have a 3D printer. I would love to print this myself, but I don't have that equipment. I definitely should invest that later. But got it from none other than D-Star01. Here's this pretty cool packaging that he puts his stuff into. Now, I'm not sponsored by him or anything like that, nor he gives this to me for free, anything like that. But guy has a pretty cool channel. I've been watching his channel for some years now, and he's pretty much another inspiration to help even encourage me to even do my own YouTube reviews and stuff like that. But I don't mind pretty much investing in other YouTubers. They can purchase for the stuff they help the community and stuff like that. Because this man here, when he noticed the slight difference that this would make, I had to buy it. And I'll definitely include a link to his site. I don't know if he's still making these or not, but hey, you guys deserve a chance to have these in your collection too, and I'm sure he would enjoy some more customers coming his way to support his business. But anyhow, you guys see the subtle difference there, like just how better it makes the Goku. It doesn't take away from it at all either. Now, I will say, be careful with the neck peg. It's not for thrashing around or anything like that, but you are at risk of breaking the neck peg. You will have to warm up the neck to properly insert the neck peg in there without issue, because I will say, trying to remove that neck peg can be a pain. And he does explain that in his own video himself too, but just wanted to put this little extra part in the video because I feel like you guys needed to see this. Because if you got your own Goku and it's still the same height, it's just that neck difference there. Like, it just changes the way this whole figure is. And I love it. I love it. But all right, guys, that's pretty much it for me. So let me get this all out the way and we'll move into my final thoughts. So be right back again. So both of these figures are amazing. Although the original Goku, of course, he's a general release. He came, retail for about $65, $70, although he's gone up a little bit in price on the secondhand market. But I've heard there's supposed to be another reissue of this guy, so you can get your hands on him pretty soon this year. Now, on the best selection, I would only advise getting this guy over here if you already have the original, and let's say like you want like a cheap Goku that you want to do a custom with, like some shirts or anything like that, you want to paint on them, you don't want those extra accessories just laying around. This is the go. If you're able to find this guy for pretty cheap, like around the original premium Bandai price was about $45. You get him around $35, $45. That'd be perfect for this guy. Perfect. It'd be a good little, $45, $45. That's still pretty steep for a figure, but at least you wouldn't be paying the whole shebang over here for this guy and you just use him as a custom. That's the only thing I see use for him. That's what I'm going to do with him. I'm going to have some custom shirts that I'm going to put on him a little bit later in my collection. But yeah, overall, the details of both of these figures are immaculate. The articulation is a solid 10 out of 10. Although, like I mentioned earlier, the best selection over here does have the scope of the chest a little tighter than it is in the original, as you guys can see a lot clearer here. So that's about the only difference that I saw. Of course, the shading is going to be a little bit different, and I noticed like the pants over here, like the way the plastic is laid on the leg, it's actually on the leg completely flat compared to the original release. You guys can see there. But other than that, the one on the right is a slight shade darker. All plastic all the way around, slight shade darker. like I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if this is what they originally were going for when they came out with this figure, and it was like, oh, maybe some type of issue during production in the original release. But who knows? Who knows at all? But regardless of your budget and which figure you decide to choose, either one of them will make an amazing addition to your own collection. Let me know in the comments, if you have either one of these figures or if you have both, and if there's any of those issues that I pointed out that you find in your own. You know, what are your likes? What are your dislikes? What have you done to your own figures? Have you done any customs with them? Or especially these two right here? Or what have you done to yours? Let me know in the comments. But I'd love to hear it. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. I appreciate if you stayed all the way to the end and listened to my, my little rambles, my little details and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. But until the next video, guys, I'll see you then.